welcome to our first attempt at a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It is
Yes.
it is Pocket Dragoon 90 here with Gabe Demand Games, and we are here to talk about upcoming news with Dead by Daylight and stuff that might be rumored and everything that has to do with the game that you guys might want to know or you guys might want an opinion on because hell, I do.
Yeah, and if you guys want a separate channel, then make sure you guys support this podcast, and that will give us motivation to make it a own channel, you know? So this is going to be posted on both of our YouTube accounts, and let's say, how many likes do you want for us to create our own channel for?
I mean, hell, personally for me, as long as I get one comment saying to do it, I'm all on board.
All right, one comment, and we may start up the own channel.
Yeah,
So
it depends how
let's
we
get
are
into
feeling.
it. What's our first
Our
topic,
first
Ian?
topic is the rumor of Base Kit Unbreakable coming to. What we'll start off with is Chaos Shuffle, and then potentially coming to the game as a full-on a thing that will just be there forever. What do you think,
Yeah,
Gabe?
I think that's definitely interesting because I there's been so many times where Killer Slug and it makes matches boring, way too long. Um, And then there's also moments where slugging's like a viable part of the game for the killer, where it's like, if it's, let's say it's two people left and they're both on comms together, it's gonna be very hard to um, maybe not get flashlight saved or flash bang stunned or pallet stunned, and especially if you're like not doing a game mode like Masquerade where the killer can't anti-hook, like that survivor can go around and sabotage hooks and stuff and just make the last part of the game miserable for a killer, because at the end of the day the survivors are probably gonna not do gens, right? They're probably just gonna try to make the match as miserable as possible.
Yeah. And I've seen it a lot more recently with I want to say toxicity, but it's a part of the game. I mean, slugging is a viable option, and behaviors come out and said this before that slugging is not a bannable offense. So my question is, why are they so hard pushing for Unbreakable to become base kit? Like at first they put on the abandon feature. Abandon feature I think was really good. Now sure, some people just quit way too fast anyway, but I feel abandoning was your four-man slugged. You're not going to get a penalty for leaving if they decide to bleed you all out. So I'm wondering, they're like, it feels like they're really pushing for the survivors to have an edge and of trying to be balanced game.
Yeah, and if I can add to that,
Go ahead.
this could possibly also be not necessarily behavior wanting it, but I have seen a lot of people do want it to be added to the game. Now, obviously, it's not everyone, right? And it's probably mostly people who main Survivor, right? Because in no way is this benefiting the killer, right?
Yeah, it's and I will mention this a million times during this episode and future episodes if we do them. Is that if you don't like something about the game, 9 times out of 10, there's a perk to counter that. If you don't like slugging, you have Unbreakable as it is now, and sure it works once, but there's tenacity, power struggle, like there's things to counteract these things. For instance, tunneling. Everyone's complaining about tunneling. They're saying, oh, we should have more endurance or we should have more second chances. Yeah, but you have decisive strike, you have dead hard, you have a bunch of second chance perks, and you want to still complain. So I think that behavior shouldn't, as well as like listening to your audience is a good thing to a certain extent.
Yeah. And then it can also, maybe not help the game too, right? Because just because the fans want it, kind of like, let's say, blood point, the max amount of blood points you can hold, right? Is it used to be 1 million, right? Then it got increased to what, 2 million, and now it's up to 5 million. And if they make it where you can save up as many blood points, right? Let's say I can save up, you know, 20 million blood points for, spring traps getting added to the game, and I really, want to instantly be good with him. You can also run into some problems there too because, maybe somebody's new and they're trying the game for the first time because they saw, Five Nights at Freddy's added to the game. Well, now, as soon as that killer came out, you have people who already have all of their perks unlocked, already have, all of the perks up to level 3. And you can do that now, yeah, but it also is add-ons too, right? And add-ons can play big into um, how a match goes. Like just look at Michael Myers. If it's an Infinite Tombstone Myers, I mean that can really just either win or lose Michael Myers, depending on how the survivors play, of course. But let's say it is newer players; they have no clue what's happening, but now they just have people who have iridescent add-ons the first day of the game.
Yeah, and I feel that I agree with that, but to a certain extent, you do need to increase the cap if you're going to keep giving out more and more blood points.
I guess, but I mean, you also don't have to, not spend them too. Like, if you're at 5 million blood points and they keep giving out free blood points, then you should spend it knowing that you can't earn more unless it's from the codes.
Yeah,
Like
or
nothing's
the
stopping you
weekly.
from spending them.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure how I entirely feel about it. I just think that um I think that they should increase like as they go. I think they should have like increased it like 1 million. I do feel is way too short, especially when you had the Twisted Masquerade that was going on 105%, and everyone had one. You're running 5 of those things and
Mm-hmm.
they stack. So I think that with how the game ages should be determined of how if they increase the cap of blood points.
I guess, but also as the game ages, it's still the new players aren't gonna have all those blood points saved up.
Yeah, but and
So
again that's what I'm saying. Like in moderation, I don't like. I'm not gonna sit here and say that next year we should have a cap of 10 million. No, I think 5 million is a good place to sit. Because most of the time when you're joining into a game, I mean, let's say you're a new player, you join into a game and you're guaranteed 50K almost every match. And sure, that's not
hmm
much, but I think it's enough to get by. And I think behavior give? I mean, behavior gives blood points for doing the tutorial, and I don't know if they give any other ones for joining the game, but I'm sure they do.
yeah, so yeah, let's just get back on track a little bit with the base kit Unbreakable, right? And so let's just get straight to the point, right? Yes or no? Do you think base kit Unbreakable should be added?
No, how about you?
I agree. I agree honestly because it kind of gets rid of the point of Unbreakable as a perk, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
practically have to change that entire perk, and how are they going to change it? Maybe they can make it where you can revive yourself faster, but then you also run into problems where stuff like Tenacity does that too, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, now it's like you're talking about people are going to be able to pick themselves up in 25 seconds or something, less than that even.
yeah. I mean, there's that flip flop. I mean, at that point, just run. I mean, flip flop power struggle would be even worse, in my opinion, because it's like you either pick them up now or they're getting to a pallet, and there's no getting away from that. So, all right. Well,
True.
there's our opinions on that. Gabe, would you like to introduce us to our next topic?
Yes. Some rumored collabs coming to the game that we've kind of just been seeing around, whether it was on TikTok, X, YouTube. And the first one I want to talk about is the rumor of another Stranger Things slash Resident Evil collab coming in November. As you guys may
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah, there is a big collab coming in November of this year in 2025. And if I'm not wrong, I think it's two new survivors, a new killer, and possibly a new map. And I don't know. I'm just trying to see, what you guys may think are gonna come out. And Ian, do you have any people who you've been seeing float around?
I have, and yes, you were right. It is in November, a licensed chapter with one killer and two survivors. I was going to bring that up if you didn't. Now, we have gotten some confirmations on a possible Darth Vader with Star Wars, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I do think that if behavior wants to grow, um, they're going to need to go to some other non-killer franchises, and I think Darth Vader is the perfect fit in between there. Because I mean, you have Nicolas Cage for God's sake, so I think that you can definitely put in a Star Wars collab. But I think I don't know how his perks would work. But on the Stranger Things side, I don't who would they do? I don't watch Stranger Things. Gabe, if you can enlighten me, who do you hope
Um,
that would become of Stranger Things?
yeah, so I'll get back to that real quick, but with the Darth Vader collab, right?
Hmm.
I would say that does get a bit dicey, right? Because there's plenty of Darth Vader Star Wars games out there, and I know that some franchises, I know that was a thing with Netflix a lot too, with the when they removed Stranger Things, is not a lot of people like to share their, licenses to Dead by Daylight, and especially with Star Wars having, Lego games and all of that. Obviously, I don't think it would, but they may see it as, hey, we're adding it to this game. Now our, $60 games aren't going to be bought because people can play as Dark Vader and Dead by Daylight.
Well, I mean, I can say the same thing about when Fortnite did a whole season on it a few months ago. So I think if you can put Darth Vader in Fortnite with a whole season and battle pass dedicated to it, I think we might possibly see it. Now, do I think this is going to be in November? I don't think so because we usually when we hear talks about the developers, especially saying we've talked to this license or that license, either it doesn't happen or it happens a year or more later. So I don't think this November we're going to get it, but possibly soon.
Yeah, but I do want to with the Fortnite thing, right? Isn't Star Wars is with Disney, right?
Hmm. And
Now,
we've
Fortnite I know like has a really good relationship with Disney, right? So
hmm
that might play into it too. Maybe Fortnite doesn't want Star Wars being added.
yeah,
And
I mean
I
money's
know it's
money.
like yeah, but you never know, right? Maybe they have an exclusive thing where it's like, hey, only add them to this game other than your like base games, your Star Wars. I know there's a lot of people are trying to get that new a new Star Wars Battlefront, I think it is Battlefront 3.
Hmm.
That might play into it too. Maybe they think it would take off eyes off of a possible trilogy there, but in terms of Stranger Things, I think a lot of things add up for it, right? Um, in November, that's gonna be the start of the final season for Stranger Things. Adding it to Dead by Daylight would promote it to many horror fans, as that is kind of a horror TV show. Um, it's kind of grown out of being as much as a horror show, but it's still in that genre. Um, they've collabed with Dead by Daylight before. Um, Even when Stranger Things got removed, they brought it back for that season 4. So they're clearly on some kind of terms with Netflix still. Um, and I just think it makes the most sense, given Stranger Things having its final season, going out with a big chapter on Dead by Daylight would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's great. Who? I mean, do you have any ideas of who could come?
Um, well, there's still a lot of main characters who have not been added, right? We only have Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan, um, who are like the main older teenagers over 18. They haven't actually added any of the kids who are supposed to be under 18. Now, I'm not sure how much goes into it on that side because obviously we have with the twins, they have the little baby Victor, right? So
Mm.
I don't think they're like completely against adding people who are under 18. But I just thought it was really interesting. They never really like even entertained the idea of adding any of the main kids from the show. So I think they could possibly go there. Um, in terms of killer though, that's where it's you kind of doubt it a bit, right? Because Vecna's already in Dead by Daylight, right? And the Vecna from Stranger Things is based off of um, Dungeons and Dragons Vecna,
Hmm.
right? So if anything, I feel like that would more be a skin for the Vecna already in the game. I don't think they would really add two Vecnas as, just they're going to be so closely alike. Um, So other than that, I'm not exactly sure on what killer they would add. I think they could do something cool. We've seen them start to get more creative by adding dogs and stuff. So I'm not sure if that might be added or something. Or maybe there's a new villain coming up in season 5, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and the Resident Evil, right? That's been a collab tossed around a lot. They've had so many collabs already with the game. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think they've collabed enough with Resident Evil.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if there's a place to get it from, if there's still more content to do, then by all means go for it. Obviously, I haven't played the games, and I'm pretty sure there's only 4 of them. So if we've had 2 of the killers come to the game, then I don't think there's much more to
No,
do
there's
with that.
more than four. There's more than four.
Oh, there's more than 4. I thought there was only 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but on top of that, another rumor I heard was there's a new Predator movie coming out in November. So is it possible we
Mm.
get one of the most hyped horror characters anticipated for Dead by Daylight? Possibly. How would you feel?
That's some good thinking there. Again, but I wouldn't say it was the most anticipated. Obviously, I would put like people like Jason up there.
Yeah.
I think Predator's around that thing where it's not one of those big collabs where they have to announce a year beforehand like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? So it kind of lines up perfectly with the whole like they haven't really announced anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen like The Walking Dead, right? It's obviously not fully out yet, but the playtest beta is out and they really only announced it a day before the playtest beta was out.
Yeah, and we will be talking
So,
about that in a minute as a new update coming.
yeah. So, I'm I think we've kind of covered all of the Last of Us too, right? I'm not completely convinced that they're ever gonna add Last of Us. I'm not sure if it would make the most sense if they added it for the TV show. Now
Yeah.
there is gonna be a third season of that, but it's definitely not gonna be November's collab. And yeah, so we can kind of cross that out. But that is something maybe, a lot of people are looking forward for. So,
I mean, back
what do
to
you want to talk
Alien.
about
I,
next?
I think I think you are completely wrong with that. I don't think Alien is something you need to, talk about a year beforehand. But I think when you think of the top 5 like most anticipated killers, I'm thinking Xenomorph, Myers, Jason, Alien, and or not Alien, but like Predator. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I think I interchanged them. So then Predator, and then I mean fifth. I really don't know. Freddy Krueger. Those are like the top 5 horror icons that you could bring to Dead by Daylight.
I would put Chucky over Predator.
I Yeah, but
I don't think
Chucky.
Predator's really that big. I'm sorry. I don't
I
think it is.
But we already got Chucky. I'm like, I mean, now, like, talk about present day, even like last year. I think Predator was anticipated. Like people are thinking, they see a licensed chapter on the roadmap and they're thinking this could be Predator. And I mean, the other problem is that's
Yeah.
another Disney franchise. So if we see Predator in November, can we see Darth Vader in 2026? Like that opens the gateway for a bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
We also have to think like, yeah, they've collabed with Five Nights at Freddy's, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, but how many of these? We also have to think it's not just Dead by Daylight, right? It's like we've seen with Jason, people just have no clue who's even like in charge of that type of stuff these days, you know? And
Yeah,
it's probably super difficult to even get in contact to start conversations about it. So we also have to keep in mind like Dead by Daylight really isn't that big of a game despite having like really good collabs. So I personally don't think Dead by Daylight's on the top, negotiations for a lot of these things. So we definitely have to keep that in mind when we're like, oh, why are they still not adding, Jason, you know?
yeah. I
So
get that.
what do you want to do next?
I'm gonna go a little off script here, and I'm gonna mention um new update coming. Uh, Walking Dead, which I feel hasn't been talked about enough. I see one video on TikTok, and that's it. So how are we feeling about Dead by Day, or not Dead by Daylight, or how are we feeling about The Walking Dead coming to the game? Are we positive about it? Are we upset? A little underwhelmed?
Underwhelmed. I
Un-
would say underwhelmed. Massive like thing is Five Nights at Freddy's, right? They announced it a year before, and it didn't even get its own unique map. Walking Dead, another big chapter coming out, doesn't even get its own map. It gets a altered version of what was it? It was like I can't think of the
I think
map's
it's
name, but
or is it Larry's or whatever
I'm
the
yeah,
hospital?
I'm not sure, but
I mean, it's supposed to be the hospital that Rick was in. Oh yeah, so our two new
okay, so yeah.
survivors, Rick Grimes and Michonne Grimes. It's just Grimes here, and I'll read off the perks if that's right, Gabe.
Yeah.
Rick has the perks Apocalyptic Ingenuity, where after rummaging or unlocking two chests, press the ability button 1 for 8 seconds, so that's, I believe, X. Um, Next to a broken pallet to build it into a fragile pallet. So if you know the anniversary pallets, how they break when you throw them down, it would be just like that. And then the auras of broken pallets you can see within 32 meters. Then he has Come and Get Me. After unhooking a survivor while crouched and idle, press ability button 1, so I believe that's X, to make injured and dying survivors within 24 meters leave no scratch marks or pools of blood for 15 seconds. You scream and the killer sees your aura for 5 seconds. Then the last one for Rick Grimes, and then we'll talk about that and then move on to Michonne, is Teamwork Tighten Up. You may that's the reading one, I'm sorry. When another survivor pallet stuns or blinds the killer while you are injured within 24 meters, your grunts of pain, scratch marks, and pools of blood are reduced by 100% for 30 seconds. I don't think those are that bad. I mean, apocalyptic ingenuity. I wish you could make infinite. I mean, as a most survivor main, I wish you could just make infinite pallets with that. But I believe it's going to be every two chests you can make one. And Gabe, I'm sending you the picture for those perks so you can take a look at them. So yeah, how do you feel?
I think they're decent. I think a lot of people are uh, taking them, you know, criticizing for, the palettes and how, oh, you can only make maybe one or two of them a game. And for them to be party palettes that are already not super effective, I think a lot of people are definitely disappointed that this is how we ended up getting like buildable palettes. I think it's good that we finally got it. I just think they could have done way better in terms of how they implemented it. But to keep this podcast, a little bit shorter, right? Because we also don't want it to be too long. Um,
I mean, I
we'll
think we're
finish
under
up on
schedule right now.
this. Really?
Uh, excuse me. Oh yeah, we're only
How
half an
long
hour
you've
in.
been? Okay, so yeah, we have what we have two more topics, right? So
After this,
we'll talk about this for a little bit longer, then so
maybe
we
five,
can
10 minutes.
focus on the main topic
I
of the
mean,
podcast, right?
yeah, our next topic, it's really just news. We can't really talk about it too much because there's not much. They really did come out pretty clean with it. So yeah. Do you want me to read Michonne's perks, which I think are the better of the half?
Yeah, why not?
All right, conviction. After you have healed one survivor while down with at least 25% recovery progress, press ability button 2, which I believe is square, to recover instantly. You go down after 30 seconds. Last stand. After spending 60 seconds in the killer's terror radius while not in chase, when you fast vault, stun the killer for 3 seconds if they're within 2.5 meters. So that's like if you're right in front of them. Teamwork
Hmm.
throwdown. When you pallet stun or blind a killer, other injured survivors within 24 meters gain endurance and see the killer's aura for 10 seconds. So I feel like Michonne's and Rick's pair well together. Like if you have, for instance, teamwork throwdown and then teamwork toughen up, you run those two, then when um you pallet stun the killer, everyone's gaining endurance, and then if someone else pallet stuns right after that, then your grunts of pain, scratch marks, and bloods are reduced. So it's just Iron Will. I mean, I don't like Rick Grimes, but Michonne's, what do you think? I definitely think they're a lot better than Rick's.
They're better. I think they're still situational. Nothing super game changing, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess that's really where we're at with perks these days, right? And we haven't really seen too many game changing ones. Um, as of recent, a major point of that is like they're just kind of running out of ideas, right? I mean, um, buildable pallets have been talked about for a while, right? And so that's not necessarily a new idea. That's kind of just been something, floating around. I think they did get pretty creative with some of Michelle's. I just think, again, they're super niche and you kind of need to be, on comms with people for most of them, right?
I mean, I think conviction is. I mean, while it may be situational because the killer has to slug. And here's another thing: you're releasing. You want to make base kit unbreakable, but you're releasing conviction with such you get up after 25% recovery progress. If that's not them saying here's another recovery perk, I don't know what is. I do think conviction is. I mean, pair it with really any other get up perk, and this is one of the best I think you can run at the moment. I mean, just being able to get up. I mean, let's say you get up and then unhook a survivor, even though you're going back down. That other survivor's running for their life. You can. You could pick up 3 people in 30 seconds. So I definitely
Mhm.
think it does have potential. So any other thoughts on this? So yeah, new map, 2 new survivors, no killer though, because zombies. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of new map, though. Not really, though.
I don't. I've seen the player test build. I'm not a big fan of the. It's very yellow. Like Eerie of Crows is yellow, but not as yellow. This is foggy yellow, and I'm not a big fan
Hmm.
of that. But yeah. Any other words before you introduce us to a new topic?
Not really. And what? Maybe you should introduce the next
All right,
topic
all right.
because for some
Um,
reason I can't remember it.
I'm not even gonna introduce it. I'm just gonna state what it is because I feel like I didn't talk too much about it, and on top of that, there isn't much to talk about. P100 rewards. I
Oh
mean,
yes,
I
yes.
mean, the devs have talked. They said they don't think it's gonna be a skin that you're gonna get, which we're bummed out about. But hopefully, it could be a new aura or hell, just make the eyes glow. It might be a charm. They said they're not gonna because making new things for every survivor and every killer obviously is time consuming, and if they're mentioning it now, I think they're gonna release it soon. Hopefully in November maybe. So I mean
Hmm.
that's just what I'm hoping for. That's the news. I mean hopefully aura eyes. People mentioned scratch marks, different colored scratch marks. I mean hell I think that would be nice like for survivors. For killers I mean again auras like Billy's chainsaw make the chainsaw glow yellow or something. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think that would be
Um,
cool enough. I think people could be satisfied with that.
Yeah, I think the scratch marks part though, you have to run fixated, right? Because survivors can't see their own scratch marks without it.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, it could just be to
that's
brag.
something where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
they actually have about a year ago they responded to somebody about it. I think it was on 4chan,
Hmm.
and they're talking about the devs were looking into different ways to implement P100 rewards, and they actually did say something about not wanting people to feel left out, right? So if somebody
Yeah,
has, that's kind of what the whole lobby thing was too. It was a mixture of remember when they removed seeing the
the prestige.
prestiges in
Yep.
lobbies, and it was kind of like they kept saying in a way like they're like, oh well, people are gonna leave the match if they see a higher prestige or lower prestiges if you're a survivor, and it was also they also were talking about how they removed it so people didn't feel like, oh, everybody around me is a high prestige, but I'm such a low prestige, and I think that's honestly really weird. I don't think many people feel that way, so I think that's a lame excuse from them. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of a lame excuse to not add in P100 rewards, if I'm being honest. It sounds like they're kind of just a little bit lazy to me.
I mean, they have to reward their players that have been playing for a while, especially when they're dedicated to one survivor or if they're dedicated to one killer. And on the opposite on the opposite side of that, I understand why they would remove from the lobbies because if I'm a killer and I load in, I mean, me personally, if I load in and I see 4 prestige 100s, I'm taking that as a challenge. But a lot of killers don't see it like that. They see it as, oh, I'm not going to deal with this, and then they leave, which ultimately affects the game. I mean, it just delays it entirely.
All right, hold on. Yeah, so I actually saw something. I wish I could shout this dude out. I don't remember what his username was, and it's impossible to find things on X.
Yeah.
Like you'll search up something and it'll be something from 2 years ago. But I remember seeing it, and it was something like a unique flashlight, right, for survivors who get the P100. But
Hmm.
this unique flashlight, you know, the survivors can bring in, and of course they can drop it too, right? So it's not like somebody who's under P100 can't get it, right? If your teammate wants to drop it to you, or if they die, you could pick it up. I also saw somebody was talking about um, possibly flashlight colors, right? Like kind of like with the Halloween flashlight, it's that orange ghost.
Hmm.
I forget what it exactly it was called, but they're
The
talking about
flickering bolt
that.
or whatever.
Yeah, and
Oh, the Hollow Wisp.
yeah, you got it. I think that's probably not gonna happen because if you remember, it was leaked a while ago too, like maybe a
Hmm.
few, like 7, 8 months ago. They were actually planning on releasing those for, I think it was like 100 orc cells each or 150. I forget
Hmm.
the exact, but it was kind of a vague thing that was in the files that could have been added, and they still haven't added it. So that's just why I don't think it's gonna be something added, or maybe they do add it, but maybe it's like red for P100 iridescent and
Yeah.
it's exclusive to that. I don't know.
I think
That's
what they
just
what they
yeah.
could do, and this is a stretch, but add when you reach P100, add like an extra slot for the flashlight for only colors, and you can get them through your
hmm
P50 blood web. I think that would be a good thing. What do you think?
I think that works amazing actually because if they added the not P50 level 50 blood webs. Now, if you're P100, you get level 50 blood web for the rest of every time you level up, right?
Hmm.
So it makes it more common for people who have P100, right? And then maybe they can make it where there's a chance for one to spawn for, level 50s. Let's say you're Prestige 1, level 50. Maybe there's like a 50% chance it spawns for you.
That's not a bad idea.
That way it still makes it rare, right?
Hmm.
But it doesn't exclude people from being able to get it. Of course, it's going to be hard to get, but that's the whole point of it, you know?
Yeah, I think that either do it the way you said, or if they make it for only P100s, then make it so that, let's say you pick up the flashlight, when you load in, like when you exit the game, then you lose the add-on. Like you'll get like, you get the flashlight and everything, but you'll lose that third slot. And I get that
Mm.
new players might not like that, but I think if behavior, I don't know what the older players would want. But I think if the older players are really pushing for it and behavior says why not, then I think that's the only way they would be able to do it. So any other
Yeah, and I'm not completely against it being, exclusive because it shows how much you've grinded the game, right?
well, you're only saying that because you're
Obviously, from
P100. Sorry.
I guess, but I mean, it's just something where it's like, you grinded the game for that long, you should be able to flex something, you know?
And giving stuff for free to everybody, I don't think is a good idea. I think you should have incentive to want to play the game more.
Mm-hmm. All
And
right,
our final
into
topic.
our final topic and the main one of the video is Laura Croft. Rumors are she's gonna be removed, right?
Hmm.
And they did have multiple outfits planned to release, and there's still gonna be an outfit releasing in late August, but it looks like the other outfits that were planned have been canceled and removed from the files.
Yeah, her apparently her license is expiring, and there hasn't been any talk of renewing it. And I know she was a fairly new survivor. One of the I think she's what I think three survivors came out since her or whatever. And I think I mean it's up to the license. I mean we can't really give our opinion on that. I don't think. But on what about other license killers? You know what I mean? Take Freddy for instance. We got I mean from in my opinion I think we got the Freddy license by the skin of our teeth, and we got no cosmetics with it.
Yeah, now what's really shocking too, though, is they did have a very good relationship with Lara Croft because they were planning on adding more outfits, which means maybe the license really wasn't expiring, but maybe something happened, you know, in the back where maybe there was like a behavior wanted to do something with her and they didn't want that to happen or something because this just doesn't happen out of the blue. Like you don't
Yeah,
plan multiple outfits to release and then all of a sudden, only one of them are coming out.
yeah. Um, I mean, it's. I mean, if the license is expiring and they don't plan on renewing it, if that's what the case is, it is a shame. I think she did have some good perks, and I don't think they should be released into the free blood web. I think that's a waste of what we had a great opportunity. I mean, Laura Croft's perks, while some may not think they're the best, I think they're decent. I mean, finesse is, I think top five right now.
Hmm.
I think
Um,
her
yeah.
I mean her other perks. I mean, while situational, the one I can't remember the name of it. Scavenger, I think it's called. Rummage or search chests, and you get charges off of a generator up to 24 at a time. I think it's yeah, you get 6 tokens at a time, which I think is a decent perk. I mean, run
Hmm.
appraisal, and you can get 2 charges per chest, and then you can run the coin and get 2 extra chests, and you're just taking charges off the gen. So
Hmm.
I think that's good. And I mean back to the Freddy. I mean like I they that was that what that license was with the movie that came out like was it a reboot that came out in 2012 or whatever? And I mean that was a disaster from the beginning because Quentin Smith's model. Have you seen it, Gabe? The old model.
Or wait, I'm getting a little bit. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there. Were you trying to say this the collab happened in 2012?
No, I'm saying the movie came out in 2012. I think it did.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like, I think bad relations with licenses, while behavior, I think most of the time tries to solve them, can't always, and I think that we eventually have to accept that. However, it is a shame because does that mean that they should have taken the license deal with as bad as some of them were?
Um, okay, so what I have to say about that, Freddy Krueger, you take that license deal no matter what, right? And that's actually it hasn't really been a bad one because it's not like they've been forced to remove him, they just haven't been able to add outfits, right? You're talking about Laura Croft was added a year ago, a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah,
Um, and you're making the mistake of not being able to keep her in the game for, even a year and a half. Like, that is just, there's no excuse for making that mistake. You've been a game for, this is the ninth year anniversary. You've learned your lesson before. At that point, don't just take a collab just to take it, you know? Like,
yeah,
you have to start being smarter with how you do stuff because now, if she is removed, they are going to have to add her perks in the free wheel just like Xenobite,
yeah,
because then uh it gets to where players can no longer get those perks and maybe those perks are, finesse, although isn't the greatest perk of all time, it can really help you a lot.
mhm.
So I think it's just a very bad mistake that they have lost a license to a, character who's just added.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know whose fault. If we're blaming anybody, I don't know whose fault that would be. Is it the license of Lara Croft? Is there something going on behind the scenes that we don't know? For
Hmm.
instance, I mean, excuse me. I want to keep going back to Freddy Krueger, but I won't. I'll go to Jason Voorhees. Hell, Jason Voorhees has been all across the board, and I don't even know any kind of clue what he's in right now, because he's the game. I mean, I'm again. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The game had some. I mean, I think the game even had licensing issues.
Yeah, so yeah, the game actually stopped getting updates. They did have stuff planned, kind of like Lara Croft. They had a bunch of stuff planned, and then all of a sudden, bang, they couldn't do anything. Everybody was fighting over the rights. I'm not sure if that's what happening with Lara Croft exactly, but that's what happened with Jason. And there is a company, it's called Jason Universe, and they actually do have the rights to a Jason model. The only problem is that um they're planning on releasing a game with him, and um if you think about the Stranger Things, Netflix was planning on releasing a Stranger Things game. That's why they didn't renew the license straight away with Behavior with Dead by Daylight because they're planning on releasing their own game, which might take. With Friday 13th, that is a strictly horror game, and if you're adding Jason to Dead by Daylight, what's the point of really buying, spending however much, 40, 50, $60 on a Friday 13th game when you can use him, you know, in a game like Dead by Daylight for $5?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think that's probably how they're thinking, right? Because $5 versus $50, that's a lot of money to people.
I definitely think that if Behavior ever does think about doing a Jason Voorhees collab, and I know no one from Behavior is gonna watch this, but if someone is, don't screw this up. We would like to
Yeah.
see some outfits. We would like to try to get the best deal you can, because, I mean, you've seen it with other collabs. You're seeing it with Jason Voorhees as we speak, that he's being tossed all over the place. I mean, if I can bring it up, Gabe, if you don't mind, um, Ghostface. We don't like Dead by Daylight does not have the rights to the Ghostface to the Scream franchise. They have the rights to the Mask produced by the some costume company. I think it's in China or something, or Taiwan. But we might be losing the licensing rights to that. There have been rumors because I think they're going bankrupt. So what does that mean for Ghostface? He's probably going to get removed from the game. So hopefully that does not
Yeah,
happen though.
a lot of things do change too because Ghostface did just get that new outfit for the 2v8, and he was just added to 2v8. But we've seen, of course, with Lara Croft, things change very quickly. So really, I wouldn't say any license is necessarily safe
Yeah,
right now. Like even if you think they have a really good relationship, like quickly things can change. Like um the only problem I would say with Jason is you can add in that Jason model that Jason Universe owns, right? But you cannot add any of the, let's say, Friday 13th Part 2 outfit.
hmm
They do not have rights to that outfit. So you wouldn't be able to add that. You'd be very limited to what you could possibly add there.
yeah. Same thing with Ghostface. The reason why he has no
Hmm.
voice lines is purely because they don't have the rights to Scream. They have the rights to the mask, and they could say, "Oh, well, we threw a black cloak over him," and that's it. There's not much more they can do.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I
I think we covered basically everything we wanted to in this first one, right?
Yeah, I mean, my also other question that I don't think Gabe will be able to answer for me is back to fucking Freddy Krueger. Is Where's the outfits? Like, what happened? I know they didn't have a good relationship with him. I know you're saying that, hey, the license is still there. They obviously had a good enough relationship. We don't know that. What if the deal was made for the contract to last 10 years? I mean, it's unlikely, but I don't think they had a very good relationship. I think they squeezed it out by the tongue of their teeth, and they got what they could. And Freddy on release was terrible. He was still terrible up to what, like a few months ago, where they reworked him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean that's not a licensing issue to rework him, but it's definitely it's terrible when you just can't get a new outfit for a character that's been in the game for over what, 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but we've seen in the past with like I know Xenomorph doesn't have any. I think Executioner has one, but like, oh, Chucky. Chucky just got a blight skin. We've seen time and time again that if a licensed collab gets a blighted skin, which is which is Dead by Daylight's original character, then it shows that they have a decent relationship with them. I don't know who owns Chucky, but I'm hoping that some horror franchise does. Because if you have good
Yeah.
relationships with Chucky, then you obviously have good relationship with the licensing owner that owns something else. Blah blah blah, etc. etc. I'm just yapping at this point. So,
All
any
right.
opinions on that before we close? Any final
No,
words?
I think we kind of covered everything. So if you guys want to, obviously the channel support these videos a lot. It's gonna be both on Gabe the Man Games and on Pocket Dragoon 90,
I
right?
will have Gabe's down in the description if you'd like to go check him
Yep.
out.
I
But like
I'll do the same.
to recap, we went over Basic Unbreakable, we went over Rumored Killers, P100 rewards, new survivors coming to Dead by Daylight, and
Hmm.
finally we went over Laura Croft's potential leaving of the entity and like licenses, possible licenses, and um, reasons why licenses cannot continue or choose not to continue. And I think that we're going to end that there. Thank you all for
Yep.
watching. We hope you
That's the
enjoyed
end
this.
for episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. What are we calling this?
Hmm. I don't know. I guess you guys will find out if we do
When we
episode
title it.
2 then.
Yeah, we'll figure that out if we title this or if we do an episode 2. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next one. Peace.